It sounds unbelievable, but millions of Americans are now considering India, not just for vacations, not just for a yoga retreat, but for permanent relocation. For decades, the story was always the same. Young, ambitious Indians leaving their homeland in search of opportunity in the United States. America was the dreamland, the symbol of success. But now, something surprising is happening. The flow is starting to shift in the other direction. Why? The reasons are layered and powerful. Remote work has changed everything. It's untethered people from expensive cities like New York, Los Angeles, or San Francisco. Suddenly, professionals realize they can earn in dollars, while living in a country where the cost of living is dramatically lower. That same salary that barely covers rent in the U.S. can buy a comfortable home, private healthcare, and even domestic help in India. Add to that India's booming economy, its status as one of the fastest growing global markets, and the fact that English is widely spoken. You begin to see why it's attracting attention. But it's not just about money. Culture and lifestyle are pulling people too. India offers deep traditions, rich cuisine, vibrant cities, and spiritual havens. Americans find these both exciting and grounding. For some, it's about adventure. For others, it's about starting fresh in a place where the future feels bright. In this video, we're diving deep into this trend. We'll explore why Americans are moving to India, the cities and regions drawing them in, and what this shift means not just for those making the move, but for the future relationship between the US and India. The rise of reverse migration. For decades, the story of migration between India and the United States was one-directional. Students, engineers, and doctors left India for opportunities in American universities, hospitals, and corporations. Families proudly sent their children abroad, chasing the American dream. But today, we're witnessing an unexpected twist in history. Americans themselves are looking to India, not as tourists, but as a place to live, work, and even retire. This reverse migration is fueled by a new era of globalization and digital connectivity. The world is smaller now. Zoom meetings, Slack channels, and cloud-based systems allow people to work from anywhere. If the paycheck still comes in US dollars, why not earn it while living in a country where costs are dramatically lower and lifestyles can be richer? The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated this shift in ways nobody predicted. When offices shut down and workers were told to log in from home, many Americans realized they didn't need to stay trapped in expensive apartments in New York or San Francisco. Suddenly, moving abroad became a realistic option. Some chose Europe, others Latin America, but a growing number began looking at India. With its English-speaking population, thriving cities, and cultural depth, India presented itself as more than just a temporary escape. What makes this even more remarkable is how quickly attitudes are changing. A generation ago, Americans might have viewed India as chaotic, underdeveloped, or simply too far away. Now, social media, digital nomad blogs, and expat communities are changing perceptions. They showcase India not as a hardship post, but as a land of opportunities, experiences, and affordability. Reverse migration isn't just a quirky trend. It may be the beginning of a much larger demographic shift. Cost of living advantage. One of the biggest reasons Americans are eyeing India is simple. Money goes much further here. The cost of living in major Indian cities, even upscale ones, is significantly lower than in the United States. Take housing, for example. Renting a two-bedroom apartment in Manhattan or San Francisco can easily cost upwards of $4,000 a month. In comparison, a similar property in Bangalore or even Mumbai, a city often considered expensive by Indian standards, can cost a fraction of that, sometimes under $1,000. But it's not just housing. Everyday services are far more affordable. Domestic help, something reserved for the wealthy in the US, is common in India. Full-time household staff, drivers, or cooks are accessible even to middle-class expats. Healthcare is another massive factor. In the US, medical bills are one of the leading causes of debt. Simple procedures can cost tens of thousands of dollars. In India, world-class hospitals offer treatments and surgeries at a fraction of the price, without sacrificing quality. For Americans earning remotely in dollars, this translates into an almost luxurious lifestyle. Imagine a US software engineer who works from his company's Boston headquarters but lives in Hyderabad. His American salary now stretches far enough to afford a spacious home, regular travel, and private schooling. even investments in property. Retirees also see India as attractive. A pension that feels modest in the US can provide comfort and security in Indian cities like Kochi, Pune, or Mysore. Senior living communities are growing. This cost advantage doesn't just ease financial pressure, it transforms lifestyles. Instead of cutting corners, many Americans in India find themselves living more freely, enjoying comforts that would be financially out of reach back home. India's booming economy. Beyond affordability, another major magnet for Americans is India's rapidly growing economy. Today, India is the world's fifth largest economy. Projections suggest it could surpass Japan and Germany within the next decade. This growth isn't just on paper. It's visible in booming skylines, tech parks, and a thriving middle class. Cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Pune are becoming global tech powerhouses. Multinational corporations, including US giants like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon, already have massive operations here. The startup scene is equally vibrant. India produces more unicorns than almost any country outside the US and China. For American professionals, this means India is not just a cheaper place to live. It's also a land of business opportunities. Venture capital is flowing in. U.Est. India business ties are stronger than ever. For some Americans, relocating to India isn't about lowering costs. It's about being close to where the action is. If the 20th century was defined by the American dream, the 21st century may very well see the rise of the Indian dream. What makes this economic rise appealing is how inclusive it can be. Americans entering India often find pathways to contribute, whether as entrepreneurs, consultants, or investors. They're not just consumers of India's growth, they're participants in it. With GDP expanding, infrastructure improving, and trade deepening with the West, India is increasingly being seen not just as a destination for outsourcing, but as a destination for opportunity, education, and healthcare. For families considering a move abroad, two questions are always top of mind. What about the kids' education, and what about healthcare? Surprisingly, India offers strong answers to both. International schools in cities like Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore provide world-class education. English is the medium of instruction. Many follow the International Baccalaureate, IB, or Cambridge systems. These are recognized globally. This makes it easier for American children to adjust, while still being positioned to pursue higher education anywhere in the world. For middle-class families, the affordability of these private schools compared to US tuition costs is a huge draw. Healthcare is another area where India shines. The country has become a hub for medical tourism. It attracts patients from around the globe. From advanced heart surgeries to cosmetic procedures, India offers high-quality care at a fraction of US prices. Hospitals in cities like Chennai, Delhi, and Bangalore are internationally accredited. They're staffed with highly trained doctors. Many studied or practiced in the West before returning home. For Americans, this means reliable healthcare without the crushing bills. A procedure that might cost $50,000 in the US could be done for under $10,000 in India, often with no compromise on quality. Even routine care, from dental visits to prescription drugs, is dramatically cheaper. Together, these factors make India not only livable but desirable. Families can secure good schooling for their children and peace of mind with healthcare, all while spending far less than they would in the US. This practicality, combined with cultural and economic opportunities, strengthens India's case as a serious destination for American relocation. Remote work and digital nomads. The remote work revolution has cracked open a new world of possibilities. India is fast becoming one of the most attractive destinations for digital nomads. High-speed internet is now widely available in major cities and even smaller towns. Remote workers from the US are setting up base in India. They enjoy lower living costs while staying globally connected. Goa, long known for its beaches and laid-back vibe, has emerged as a hotspot. Cafes double as workspaces. Co-living hubs cater specifically to digital nomads who want a sense of community. Meanwhile, Bangalore and Hyderabad, India's leading tech cities, offer great infrastructure. They also host thriving startup ecosystems. For Americans who want to network with innovators, coders, and entrepreneurs, these cities provide an energy that rivals Silicon Valley. Co-working spaces have multiplied. They offer modern amenities at a fraction of US prices. Startup incubators attract not only Indians, but also international talent. They create an environment where collaboration is constant. For U.S. freelancers and small business owners, India is a dream scenario. They can live in comfortable apartments, eat out daily, travel across the country, and still save money, all on incomes that would barely cover rent in Los Angeles or New York. This shift isn't just about money. It's about lifestyle. The idea of working from a laptop while sipping chai in Jaipur or enjoying sunset views in Goa has become reality for thousands of Americans. India's combination of affordability, cultural depth, and modern digital infrastructure has placed it firmly on the map for the new generation of global workers. Retirement havens. Retirement in the U.S. is becoming more and more unaffordable. Rising healthcare costs, housing expenses, and general inflation have left many older Americans searching for alternatives. India is stepping into that role in a surprising way. Places like Kerala, Goa, and hill stations in Himachal Pradesh or Uttarakhand are emerging as retirement havens. Kerala, with its lush backwaters and renowned healthcare facilities, has become particularly attractive. Retirees are drawn to its peaceful environment and advanced hospitals. They offer world-class care at a fraction of U.S. prices. Goa offers a vibrant international community, beachside living, and a slower pace of life. Meanwhile, cooler hill stations provide an escape from India's heat. They offer serene natural surroundings perfect for those in their golden years. Expat retirement communities are beginning to emerge. They cater specifically to foreign residents. These communities combine modern comforts, like reliable internet and English-speaking doctors, with India's affordability. To put it into perspective, a retirement lifestyle that costs $3,000 a month in Florida, including housing, healthcare, and leisure, can often be enjoyed in India for $1,000 or less, sometimes with better access to personal care and services. For many retirees, it's not just about saving money. It's about quality of life. In India, pensions stretch further. They allow for travel, dining out, and even hiring household help. Combined with India's rich culture, diverse landscapes, and welcoming people, it's no wonder more older Americans are choosing to spend their retirement years here. Challenges of moving to India. Of course, relocating to India isn't without its challenges. For all the advantages, Americans often face culture shock when they first arrive. Language barriers can be frustrating outside of urban centers. Everyday systems like banking, renting apartments, or getting a driver's license can feel buried in bureaucracy. Patience is often the first skill newcomers must learn. Traffic and infrastructure are also hurdles. Metro systems are improving in cities like Delhi and Bangalore, but congestion and pollution remain serious concerns. For Americans used to smoother roads and cleaner city air, adjusting can take time. Some expats also struggle with India's sheer intensity. Crowded markets, noise, and constant activity can feel overwhelming, especially compared to quieter suburban lifestyles back home. Visa policies present another challenge. Unlike countries such as Portugal or Thailand with clear retirement or digital nomad visas, India's visa system is more restrictive. Long-term residency isn't automatic. Renewals can be complicated. For many Americans, this uncertainty requires additional planning. Still, those who persist often find the rewards outweigh the struggles. Once settled, expats talk about the warmth of local communities. They praise the affordability of daily life and the opportunities for personal growth. In fact, overcoming these initial obstacles often becomes part of the story. Proof that choosing India wasn't just about living cheaply, but about embracing a fuller, more adventurous life. Impact on local communities. The growing presence of Americans in Indian cities and towns is leaving a noticeable mark. In Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, and Goa, neighborhoods are seeing an influx of foreign residents. They bring with them not just different lifestyles, but also new cultural influences. Cafes, restaurants, and art spaces are adapting to this international crowd. It's not unusual to find American-style diners in Bangalore, or yoga studios in Goa that blend Western preferences with Indian traditions. This cultural fusion creates dynamic spaces. Locals and expats collaborate, share, and innovate. Business partnerships, art collaborations, and grassroots community projects often spring from these connections. But the impact isn't entirely positive. In popular expat hubs like Goa or certain districts of Bangalore, locals worry about gentrification. Rising demand from foreigners can push up housing prices. It makes it harder for residents to afford their own neighborhoods. The lifestyle gap, where expats live luxuriously on incomes out of reach for many Indians, sometimes sparks social tensions. On the flip side, Americans bring new opportunities. They invest in businesses, introduce skills, and often create jobs for locals. From teaching to tourism, their presence also boosts India's reputation as a global hub for culture and innovation. Over time, these interactions shape a more cosmopolitan India, one where global and local identities coexist, and sometimes even blend seamlessly. India versus other destinations. Why are Americans choosing India over other popular relocation spots, like Mexico, Thailand, or Portugal? The answer lies in the unique mix of affordability, opportunity, and cultural richness that India offers. Mexico is attractive for proximity to the US and relaxed residency options. Thailand lures digital nomads with beaches and low costs. Portugal has charmed retirees with easy visas and safety. Yet none of these offer the depth of experience that India does. Beyond the low cost of living, India provides a sense of purpose and engagement. Through its booming economy, ancient traditions, and diverse communities, one major advantage is language. With English widely spoken, especially in urban areas and professional circles, Americans face fewer communication barriers. This makes integration smoother than in many other countries. Additionally, India's political and economic stability, despite its challenges, outweighs the uncertainties in some other regions. For example, Thailand's periodic political unrest or Mexico's safety concerns often push expats to reconsider. Ultimately, Americans aren't just looking for a cheap place to live. They're looking for a meaningful life abroad. India's unique blend of opportunity, culture, and global relevance makes it more than just an alternative. It makes it a destination of choice. Stepping back from the individual stories and motivations, the bigger picture becomes clear. India is no longer just a country that talent leaves. It is becoming a country where talent arrives. For decades, the narrative was defined by the brain drain. India's brightest students and professionals sought opportunities in the United States, Canada, and Europe. But today, we are seeing a remarkable reversal. India is now drawing people from those very same nations, including Americans who are choosing to live, work, and even retire here. This shift is more than just economics. It's symbolic of India's global rise. To attract migrants from wealthier Western nations is a sign of something bigger. India is not only catching up, it's offering something uniquely valuable. It represents a new stage in India's story, no longer defined only as an exporter of talent, but as a destination of talent and ambition in its own right. There's a cultural irony here, too. For generations, Indians saw America as the ultimate dreamland, the place of endless opportunity, freedom, and prosperity. Families sacrificed and struggled to send their children abroad. They believed that a future in the US was the ultimate success. Now, the tables are beginning to turn. Many Americans, weighed down by the crushing costs of living, healthcare, and education, are seeing India as their land of hope. The dream has not disappeared. It has simply shifted continents. What makes this transformation especially powerful is that it is not one-sided. This is not just India offering cheap living to struggling foreigners. Instead, it is a mutual exchange. Americans bring with them skills, networks, investments, and cultural perspectives. India offers affordability, deep-rooted culture, and a booming economy. Together, they create a fusion that enriches both sides. They strengthen India's role in the global community. Ultimately, this trend tells us something profound about the changing balance of global power. Once, the West dictated where opportunity flowed. Today, countries like India are proving that opportunity is no longer monopolized. It's multipolar. The fact that Americans now look eastward for a better life is a quiet but powerful reminder that the global center of gravity is shifting, and India is right at the heart of that change. So what does all this mean? Quite simply, India is no longer just exporting its people to the world. It is becoming a magnet for the world itself. Millions of Americans are now exploring the idea of calling India home, and tens of thousands have already made the leap. Whether it's young digital nomads in Goa, tech professionals in Bangalore, retirees in Kerala, or families seeking culture and affordability in Delhi. The pattern is unmistakable. The drivers are clear. Affordability that allows U.S. incomes to stretch further. Opportunities in one of the fastest-growing economies on the planet. Healthcare that is world-class yet affordable. And a cultural richness that offers far more than just a place to live. It offers a place to belong. India is not simply a refuge from America's problems. It is a rising power that provides hope, growth, and possibility for those willing to embrace it. For years, the flow of migration told one story: India's best and brightest dreaming of America. But today, a new chapter is being written. More and more Americans are looking eastward. They're discovering their own version of the American dream, reborn in India. And perhaps that's the real story here. Not just about migration, but about transformation. India is no longer just part of the global future. It is shaping it. For years, India's best and brightest dreamed of America. Today, America is dreaming of India. And that shift may change the future of both nations forever.